Grant lights another cigar, a habit that will eventually kill him, and continues his wait for Lincoln. He hopes to hear about the battle for Richmond before the president arrives. Capturing Lee's army is of the utmost importance, but both men also believe that a Confederacy without a capital is a doomsday scenario for the rebels. Delivering the news that Richmond has fallen will be a delightful way to kick off their meeting. The sound of horseshoes on cobblestones echoes down the quiet street. It's Lincoln. Once again, the president has courted peril by traveling with just his 11-year-old son, a lone bodyguard, and a handful of government officials. Lincoln knows that historically, assassination is common during the final days of any war. The victors are jubilant, but the vanquished are furious, more than capable of venting their rage on the man they hold responsible for their defeat. A single musket shot during that horseback ride from City Point could have ended Lincoln's life. Despite his profound anxieties about all other aspects of the nation's future, Lincoln chooses to shrug off the risk. At the edge of Petersburg, he trots past the houses of Negroes, in the words of one Union colonel, and here and there a squalid family of poor whites. But there's no one else. No one, at least, with enough guts to shoot the president. And while the former slaves grin broadly, the whites gaze down with an air of lazy dislike, disgusted that this tall, bearded man is once again their president. Stepping down off his horse, Lincoln walks through the main gate of the house Grant has chosen for the meeting. He takes the walkway in long, eager strides, a smile suddenly stretching across his face, his deep fatigue vanishing at the sight of his favorite general. When he shakes Grant's hand in congratulation, it is with great gusto, and Lincoln holds on to Grant for a very long time. The president appears to be so happy that Grant's aides doubt he's ever had a more carefree moment in his life. The air is chilly. The two men sit on the veranda, taking no notice of the cold. They have become a team during the war, or as Lincoln puts it, Grant is my man and I am his. One is tall, the other quite small. One is a storyteller, the other a listener. One is a politician, the other thinks that politics is a sordid form of show business. But both are men of action, and their conversation shows deep mutual respect. Former slaves begin to fill the yard, drawn back into Petersburg by the news that Lincoln himself is somewhere in the city. They stand quietly in front of the house, watching as the general and the president proceed with their private talk. Lincoln is a hero to the slaves, Father Abraham, guiding them to the promised land with the Emancipation Proclamation. Lincoln and Grant talk for 90 minutes, then shake hands goodbye. Their parting has a bittersweet feel, the two great men perhaps sensing that they are marching toward two vastly different destinies. Grant is off to finish an epic war and subsequently to become president himself. Lincoln is off to heal a nation, a noble goal he will not live to see realized. Now, as the president looks on, Grant saddles up his charger and gallops off to join his army. Before leaving himself, Lincoln shakes hands with some people in the crowd gathering in front of the meeting place. He then rides back to City Point, once again exposing himself to possible violence. The way is littered with hundreds of dead soldiers, their unburied bodies swollen by death and sometimes stripped bare by scavengers. Lincoln doesn't look away, absorbing the sober knowledge that these men died because of him. Outrage about Lincoln's pursuit of the war has many calling for his death, even in the North. Let us also remind Lincoln that Caesar had his Brutus, one speaker cried at a New York City rally. And even in Congress, one senator recently asked a simple question: how much more are we going to take? Before going on to elude the possibility of Lincoln's murder. Lincoln endures all this because he must, just as he endures a slow trot through the battlefield. But there is a purpose to all he does, and upon his return to City Point, he receives a great reward when he's handed the telegram informing him that Richmond has fallen. Confederate troops have abandoned the city to link up with Lee's forces trying to get to the Carolinas. Thank God that I have lived to see this, Lincoln cries. It seems to me I have been dreaming a horrid dream for 4 years, and now the nightmare is gone. But it's not really gone. President Lincoln has just 12 days to live.